My name is Jonathan Daly and I'm a director of Studio Huss, the studio for the human understanding of social spaces. We are a design research practice and we operate at the intersection of human psychology, physiology and the built environment, so architecture and urban design. We explore the relationship between people and human habitats, and we use that understanding, that scientific understanding of that relationship, to inform better design. Among the built environment professionals, there is a lack of understanding of human behavior, the human condition, and an over reliance on assumption in the design process. And what we are trying to do is to minimize that reliance on assumption, to try and bridge that gap and provide designers with better information to design with. At Linkfest in Melbourne this year, I proposed a framework for inclusive design, which comprised of three main elements. The first of those was accept that design is not always the answer. And this might be quite confronting for a number of designers, particularly given how important design has become in recent years and how prominent design has become. But if you take, for example, the Pruitt Ego housing project, which was constructed in the 1950s in St. Louis, Missouri, in the USA, this was a social housing project that was designed to address many social problems through architecture. But ultimately the architecture failed to deliver those intended outcomes, and it was demolished. And the reason being that many social problems are complex, wicked problems, and they require a much more comprehensive approach to address those issues. The second part of the framework was forget what you think you know. So we all know something about human behavior, but few or any of us actually know enough to competently design human habitats without proper scientific information about our relationship with the built environment. And we use this example of one of 60 known cognitive biases that all humans are susceptible to. It's called the fundamental attribution error, and we believe traffic engineers in particular are very susceptible to this cognitive bias. So the traffic engineer would look at this image and wonder why people stupidly walk through the centre of the roundabout when they have laid out a path around the edge. But obviously people will do what is most convenient, which is a straight line from A to B. And there's always an exception even among traffic engineers. And the late great Dutch traffic engineer Hans Mondeman once said that people are not stupid, only the environments that we create for them. The third and final part of this framework was develop an interdisciplinary practice. Interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary approaches are much less common than multidisciplinary, which I would distinguish as being a number of professionals working on the same project but working more or less in isolation, as opposed to being open and working collaboratively with not just built environment professionals but a much broader field of professionals, particularly behavioral sciences. I'm talking about sociology, psychology and anthropology in particular. And as the late great American anthropologist Edward T. Hall once said, it's a mistake of the greatest magnitude to act as though people are one thing and their cities, technologies and something else. And by excluding these behavioral sciences, we are in many ways separating out the built environment from its inhabitants, its occupants. So I'll leave you with another quote from another great inspiration of ours, the German designer Dieter Rams, who you may or may not be familiar with, but is one of the main inspirations behind the design of Apple's products. Dieter Rams once said, "You cannot understand good design if you do not understand people." Thank you.